And we are live. Hello, good day, and welcome to the Startup Stop. If you're thinking about starting a business or you've recently launched one, then you are in the right place because today, right now, right here on this show, we'll be answering your questions about starting and running a new business. My name is Roger Pierce. I am a startup expert, and I love talking to new entrepreneurs and helping them out with some of my experiences and my background, which I'll share as we go along. I also want to welcome my lovely co-host, Lily Ma. Hi, Lily.
Hello, everyone. Nice seeing you.
Thanks for being here. You were telling me a great story as we just started our broadcast today. You've had a recent client accomplishment, I understand.
Yes, a recent client I've been working on. He's a YouTuber, and he hit 100,000 subscribers last night. So I'm really excited. I'm celebrating for him. And, that goes to show the amount of hard work that you put in will equal to results. And his thing was YouTube, and he finally hit the goal. So the next thing for him is to hit 1 million.
Wow. I think we know someone else who has 1 million subscribers.
I think so too. Yeah. He celebrated. When did Evan hit 1 million? November, I believe. I think it was November. Yeah. Now he's at like 1.2 million. He's up there.
His goal is 1 billion.
Yes. Yes.
So I have no doubt that he'll reach it, and we will certainly celebrate his success when that happens too.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That's amazing, Lily. Congratulations, because it's all about helping entrepreneurs achieve their goals.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a huge one. To have 100,000 subscribers on YouTube is a major milestone. So congratulations to you and your client.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. I'm extra excited because of that today.
Hey. Well, did you manage to get some questions for us?
Of course I do. Okay, so the first question, we're going to get right into it, Roger. The first question comes from John. He says, I have an idea about a business, but I'm afraid that if I release it, someone would steal the idea from me. Can you help me find a solution on finding a security for my business?
Really common concern, John. Thank you for setting that in. Worrying about someone stealing your business, everybody worries about that. So first of all, you're not alone. I get that question quite a bit. I've come up with this new thing. I've come up with this idea. I've got this notion. I'm really, really excited about it, but I'm not sure if I should be talking about it, because what if someone else takes it and ruins it and I don't become rich and famous? So you're not alone. A lot of people have those concerns, John, but I've got a few comments for you that might challenge some of your thinking in this area. I think you should actually share your idea, John, and share it openly and share it wide. Here's why. Here's the thing, and it's a bit of a tough pill to swallow. Most ideas in the world, believe it or not, have already been thought up by someone else. Okay? As much as you might think the idea you've come up with is brilliant, and I'm sure it is, chances are out of 8 billion souls in the world, someone somewhere else has had the same notion. So if you can accept that concept, then the rest of my advice will start to sink in. If someone else has already thought about it, why haven't they done anything about it? Because they haven't executed on it. So it's not the idea that will make your business successful, John. It's what you do with it. The old expression, right? 10% inspiration, 90% perspiration. Execution, execution, execution is key. Ideas are all over the place. Everybody has great ideas, and I'm not trying to lessen your idea or diminish your brilliant idea. I'm sure it's a good idea, but here's the thing. Actions speak louder than words. So it's really important that you take your idea and you run with it. Some other reasons why you should share your idea openly. It'll make the idea stronger because you'll get feedback from other people, friends, family, other entrepreneurs you talk to about this thing. Sharing your idea commits you to doing it. So you're not just going to talk about it or dream about it. You're actually going to do it. It's like when we say publicly, I want to lose weight. All of a sudden it's out there, and it kind of forces your hand, doesn't it? Sharing your idea lets other people help you, and this is huge. So let's say your new idea needs money, like most ideas do. By sharing your idea, maybe I know an investor, or maybe I know someone who knows an investor, or maybe I know someone who could be a customer. The more you share your idea, the more people are going to rally behind it and help you and come up with ways to make your idea a success and make your idea a reality. So that's another major, major benefit of sharing your idea. If you're really concerned about your idea, if you have something that's like a product invention or a patent or an industrial design, something very specific that you're worried about Apple stealing or something like that, you can protect yourself somewhat with a non-disclosure agreement or a confidentiality agreement. An NDA is something that people sign before they see the particulars of your design or your patent or your drawing. So if it's that kind of idea, John, a non-disclosure agreement will help protect you. You can ask a lawyer to draft one for you, but I would just search online, find an NDA template you can modify, and use that attached to your presentations wherever you go. Other than that, if it's not that kind of idea to be cloaked in an NDA, share it. You're going to gain more than you're going to lose, and chances are your idea would be that much further ahead. Lily, I know you've got some thoughts on this subject too.
I love it. I agree with you 100%. The key is execution. I think we all have amazing ideas. Again, it's not to diminish the fact that this person could have a revolutionary idea. It's the fact that you have to execute. I love the key about accountability. I'm a huge believer in accountability. Once you put what it is that you're going to do out there, now we have to actually do it and follow through, because we want to save ourselves the embarrassment of someone that doesn't follow through, right? So I do believe in that. And so one of the things that I did when I first started off as in my business, I wanted to be a speaker. Since then, my direction has shifted. What I did was I leveraged my friends. I had an idea. I was like, I have this great thing that I want to talk about. I'm going to do this workshop, this seminar, and I just posted on my Facebook wall to say, I'm looking for speaking opportunity. This is what I'm going to be talking about. Does anybody know anybody? Please let me help. And the amount of people that came to my rescue and actually rallied behind me. And as a result, I was able to book some speaking engagements. So it's amazing what people are willing to do for you. If you genuinely care about your idea and you genuinely care about making a difference in other people's life, it comes from a place of helping versus like your own selfish need, but people will come and help you. And yeah, the NDA, if it's like a very specific type of thing, it's an intellectual property that needs to be protected. Sure, protect yourself that way. But most part, it's execution. Most part it is. You said 90, what did you say? 90% inspiration. No, hold on, say that again. 10% inspiration, 90% perspiration.
You got it.
I like it. I like
it.
it. I'm going to use it. I've never heard it before, but I'm going to use it from now on.
It's not an original thought. I'm stealing that from someone else.
It's an original thought for me. I've never heard it before. I'm going to use it.
Feel free.
I'll just quote Roger. I'll just say it's Roger's quote. That's it. Okay, next question, Roger. It comes from Ashita. She's asking, how to really get back from a financial mistake? Say an investment you made later seems to be the wrong decision. Recovering from a financial mistake.
Sure, that is very common, especially for entrepreneurs. Ashita, thank you for your question. I think the first thing to think about is recovering from a financial mishap takes time, and you shouldn't blame yourself. We've all made financial mistakes. I can share a few doozies with you, that's for sure. Especially when you're running a business or starting several businesses, as I've done, you are going to make missteps. You are going to lose money. You are going to make mistakes. First thing is, don't blame yourself. Learn from those mistakes, because that's the secret to success, is learning, doing, learning. So please learn from your mistake, pause and figure out, what could I have done differently, and how can I learn from this so I don't repeat the same mistake again? and make a plan then to replace the money. If you feel there's a big hole, a big void, you need to replace this money, you've got a few options. So you could do things like save a bit more every month to try to replace the money. Let's say if it's $10,000 for argument's sake you lost, and you need to replace that money. Maybe you borrowed it from someone, or it's a line of credit, or just from your savings. That's going to take some time. So maybe you just save a little bit extra every month. Maybe you take on a part-time job. Yes, I know that's a lot of more work, but that's maybe the price we have to pay to have recovery from the financial misstep. Maybe you can reduce your expenses or tighten your belt a bit, not eat out as much, not do this, not do that, save a little more money, and start to chip away at that $10,000 hole. I guarantee you, soon you'll start to see some progress and you'll feel better. about replacing that money. So there are a number of things you can do to replace the funds, but have a goal and say to yourself, well, I'm going to replace that money in 2 years or 3 years or whatever your timeline is. You think you can reasonably achieve it. So you can see some progress and you know that this isn't going to be forever, because there's nothing worse than thinking you're stuck in a financial rut for a long period of time. I also would encourage you, Ashita, to talk with a financial advisor. Typically a banker is the best person you can talk to. If you've got an accountant or a bookkeeper or someone like that, great, but everyone's usually got access to a banker, and a banker will help you come up with some strategies to help you replace that money and perhaps reduce expenses and look at your spending, see what you can do to dig out of that hole a little bit faster. Chances are they've got some products as well, some savings products that you can access to help you recoup that money even faster. So if you're managing to put away $100 towards replacing the debt, maybe if it's in a savings account with a little bit of interest, it's going to be that much faster to recover from that financial misstep. But don't worry about it. Don't beat yourself up too much. Everybody makes financial mistakes. The key thing is to learn and to take action to correct it. Lily, what about you? Got any thoughts on money?
Yeah, it's true. I have made financial mistakes in my life too, and I think everyone has. If you look at very successful people, whether if you look like Elon Musk is one of them, right? He made a lot of money and he almost went bankrupt, trying to invest into SpaceX. And it happens. It's okay. You have to learn from your mistakes. A couple of practical things that come to mind in terms of recovering from a financial situation like that is this, again, I'm not a financial advisor. Do consult with a financial advisor before you do anything. But a couple of practical things that I can think about is when you're paying off debt, don't overdo it, in a sense that this is my experience, my personal experience. When I did have a debt, I was trying to pay for it everything at once, and I didn't have any kind of emergency fund for myself. So when something fell apart in my home, I was scrambling to try to find income to actually pay for a space, because we all have emergency bills. The roof falls out of my house. Who's going to pay for it? I have to pay for it. So kind of finding the balance between keeping something for an emergency fund while paying down your debt is really good. I know we all want to pay off our debts as soon as possible because there's high interest involved, but having a little bit of an emergency fund is going to really help too.
Great advice. Great advice.
Mm-hmm. All right, on to the next question. Next question comes from Dante. Dante is saying, I got a question about art academies. I have been researching on some, but I'm not sure about them. Do you guys recommend any other? Also, I'm only researching art academies.
Okay, thank you so much, Dante. I'm going to assume your question is about art school or a workshop program or classes. And I'm not an artist. I'm an entrepreneur, so I don't have any specific recommendations for you, but I can speak to process a little bit to help you find the right art school for you and your ambitions. Number one, I would go online and identify 3 or 4 art schools or academies in your city. Look at the reviews online. Attend their open house. Most schools or reputable schools will have a free open house where you can go and see what it's all about and meet the professors, the instructors, and the other students, that kind of thing, maybe some past students. And, ask your questions. I would also see if you could sit in on an actual class or workshop, or maybe take in a day of the art school. Again, this might be offered as part of the open house, because if you could actually see them offering instructions, you'll get a sense of the quality and training or the experience of the instructors, whether or not they're teaching the kind of things you want to learn. This is a big investment of your time and your money. Maybe the biggest investment you're going to make in terms of your art career. So if you can go and sample the product by sitting in, really it's not going to cost the academy much to have you sit in the corner and listen and experience it. In fact, they should welcome you to do that. I also would say, if you can, ask some local artists, dig into the local artist community and maybe get their feedback on local art academies and schools and workshops. Chances are some of them might even teach there, and they can give you their recommendations about which ones are best based on your interests. So do all this research, just like in business. Get out there, ask questions, meet some of the players, meet some of the stakeholders, look at 3 or 4 options, come up with a little criteria or checklist to rate each one, and then make your decision from there, Dante. What do you think, Lily?
I think you hit all the points. Yeah, I would do the exact same thing. I remember I went to school for fashion and retail management the first time around. Then I went back to school for psychology. And one of the things that I did was go into an open house and really go. And then I went to a very artistic, like I went to open houses in very artistic schools, and I realized that it wasn't the thing for me, even though, and because I did the open houses, I was able to find that out. Have conversations with the faculty, have conversations with the students. Sitting in is a really good one. Like sitting in and actually observing. Right here, I'm standing at the Toronto Dance Salsa Dance Studio. We have a lot of people that walk in and say, can I just come and observe your classes? We're like, yeah, of course. So they will sit in and see how an actual class runs. Because there's one thing to get a lot of information from the website and get information from the administrator, but really to sit in and to really experience how it's like to be in the class makes a massive difference. So I'm only confirming what you're saying. I think you hit all the points. It's you have to get out there and actually do it instead of just doing research on the computer.
You reminded me of something else too, Lily. I mean, this happens a lot with students who are choosing their vocation, right? Going into college or university for 3, 4 years or more. And they decide they want to go into engineering, or they want to go into business school or medicine or law or whatever. And then they graduate and they don't like the field. They start working in the job and they hate it. And that just scares the heck out of me. How many people are out there jumping into school programs without actually sampling the work first? I mean, it's always better to go and double check these things to see if it's actually something you want to do before you go spending $50,000 and 4 years of your life taking the training, right? Now, I'm assuming Dante is an artist and likes and has already crossed that off his checklist. He wants to be or she wants to be in art. But for anyone else considering an investment in post-secondary education, you know, go and make sure you like that work before you get the training involved.
Yeah, absolutely. Roger, we have a question from the live chat.
Yay.
So we have Emmanuel and we have Green Grow Spaces. So Green Grow Spaces has a question for you. My question is, how do you promote your brand in a currently illegal yet soon to be legal industry?
I'm going to assume they're talking about cannabis.
I think so too. I think so.
For folks who are watching outside of Canada, the cannabis industry will become legal. Cannabis will become legal July 1st, 2018, this year, right? Coming up fast. So Canada and a lot of industries in Canada are bracing for that change. A lot of industries are affected. So how do you create a brand for yourself before it's legal? That's a very interesting question. I think, you know, the best way to do it is to start to build a following. There's nothing stopping you. No, I'm not a lawyer, so make sure you check this stuff out. Nothing stopping you from perhaps developing a mailing list or getting an email list of people together who are interested in your future business. And you can kind of approach it with an opening soon or July 1st kind of promise and say, look, we can't really market until it is legal, but if you want to be included in all of our activities and our promotions and find out more information, just give us your email address and we'll start sending you some updates when we're able. I think, you know, the one who has a community is the one who's going to win in this industry or other industries. If you've got a following, you can start to market to them. Same thing can happen on social media. So instead of an email list, you might develop a community there, Twitter followers, Facebook followers. You can talk about what you're going to do without actually doing it. Again, speak to a lawyer or someone who can advise you more specifically than that. But I'm pretty sure if you just develop a follower and develop some lists, that's going to help you build up your eventual brand. And you can launch, hit the release button on July 1st or whenever it's legally okay for you to do that.
Yeah, beautiful. And Roger, you know what? That's for every type of thing, and regardless if it's an illegal industry or a legal industry. I work with a lot of clients who are authors. They want to write books and they want to sell them, but they don't yet have a following yet, and they are self-publishing. So if you were to drop a book, no one's going to buy it because you haven't built a community yet. So I know this is like a different kind of way of looking at it because I'm talking about a book here, but I think it's kind of the same. It's about being ready, whether if it's a legal issue or if it's just the fact that you're selling a book. It's building a community. When you build a community and you build that trust, that's when people are going to follow you. And as soon as you release something, they're going to buy it. It's the same thing as what Evan did. Evan went through a publisher for his one word book, and then the second one, it was self-published. But as soon as he released a self-published book, people had it in their hand because he already built up a 1 million+ subscriber count and he was able to sell it to them. So I'm all for building a community, regardless if it's illegal or not legal. Same thing.
It's been said that, and Evan's got, of course, a massive following, but for the rest of us mortals, you know, 1,000, they say 1,000 followers, a community of 1,000 is enough. You don't need millions, really. Most small business owners, if you get 1,000 fans, followers, customers, people on an email list, that's enough to start to sell to and promote your offering to. It'll get you some sales, it'll get you some hype. Those 1,000 will get more people, might become 10,000, but 1,000 is enough. So don't feel you need to, you know, go out and sign up millions of people for your new business. Just develop a community or a list of about 1,000. And you'll find some momentum from there.
Nice, nice. There's some nice comments coming through for you, Roger. Nice. So Green Grow Spaces is saying, Roger, you sound like a philosopher when you speak. This is a good thing, by the way.
Thank you very much.
There you go. You got a fan, Roger. You got a fan.
It made my day.
All right, Roger, what do we got?
Well, we've got today's Startup Stop suggestion, Lily, and this is just where we offer a bit of a tip. Usually something that's happened to me in the last week. So my Startup Stop suggestion this week is get half payment up front. I'll tell you a quick little story. Spider-Man appeared at my son's 6th birthday party last weekend. We had a great time. We hired one of those costumed actors to come in and entertain the kids for an hour, and my son was just thrilled. He's a big Spider-Man fan. That's an understatement. My son is Connor Pierce. So we paid the company, the agency that books the Spider-Man to appear, we paid them half of the fee up front. It was $200, so we paid them $100, and the rest we paid when Spider-Man completed his visit. And it just reminded me about how much I like this arrangement and how much small business owners should listen to this type of arrangement as well. It is what we call risk sharing. The seller, the Spider-Man agency, got some money up front. They got their $100 weeks ago, and they're happy about getting that portion of the fee early. The buyer, me, I didn't have to worry about the job getting done because the rest of the payment was under my control, right? So I know that the Spider-Man is going to show up because if they don't, they're not going to get that remaining $100. And it just is, like I said, shared risk. It's too much to ask for all the money up front. That tilts the risk equation too much in terms of the seller's favor, and it puts too much risk on the buyer, and you're not going to be able to close as many sales. So I think anybody, especially someone selling services, needs to have a clear and a solid 50% upfront payment policy. And if someone isn't willing to pay that 50% upfront, then maybe they're not committed to working with you, and you might want to look for another type of customer. So invoice upfront, ask for 50% upfront, make sure you accept payment by credit card. It's easy to do that with Stripe and lots of online applications today. You'll benefit because you got some money in the bank, so you get the job done. You can hire employees, you can hire contractors or other vendors, whatever you need to do to actually do the work. The customer is more likely to agree to the sale because it's equal risk sharing, half upfront, half when the job is done. And it's fair. It's just fair for everybody involved. So that's my tip, Lily. Make sure you accept payments half up front.
Nice.
What are your thoughts?
I do like that. I think it's when someone puts in money up front, they have a skin in the game. They're right away, they're more committed. You will receive more respect for them versus people are just, if you're like, it's okay, just pay me after the fact, you don't have the commitment. It's also the way people value your time as well. I do like it. It's not something that's being practiced a lot. I think especially with entrepreneurs who are starting out, they just want customers, and it's hard for them to get that 50%. But if we made this into an industry standard, then it would be a lot easier for the ones that are starting out, the aspiring entrepreneurs who are they will take anybody and they will do it for free. And yeah, I think it's an important thing. It's kind of making me think a little bit about a lot of the entrepreneurs that I work with and all the struggles that they go through.
Absolutely. And it's important to have a little bit of money coming in. Look, a service job, like a graphic design job or a website development, whatever, that could take months. It's too much for the entrepreneur to wait 3 or 4 months to get paid in full.
Yeah.
And the customer won't be committed because it's kind of like, oh, well, I'll pay later. Much better for both parties to share that risk, half and half. You'll get a better quality customer. You'll have some cash in the bank. The customer will be committed. It'll probably force you to write up a contract, which is a great thing because then everyone's very clear on what's to be delivered and when in order to release that second payment. And just a win-win situation all around.
Yeah, I agree. There needs to be more of that. I don't think people talk about it enough. It's a really good thing that you brought it up.
We tend to be timid. We don't want to scare off the customer, but coming up with payment terms is part of the sale. Yeah. It is part of the negotiation process, and it can kill a sale too, right? If you ask for too much, the customer can walk away, like I said. So I think it's really important to have that conversation and have it up front.
Yeah, I like it. Good.
Well, that's it for me today. Lily, anything to add?
No, there's just so many great ideas coming, and I'm going to leave with this. Respect your business and respect what you have to offer. I think that's what I want to leave it with. I think entrepreneurs who are starting out, they don't respect themselves enough and their value. So don't undervalue yourself. I think that's where I want to leave it.
Excellent advice. When you respect yourself, others will respect you too.
Exactly.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you, Lily, for all the great questions and your comments. And thank you for watching. We'll be back next week, 3 p.m., Tuesdays, Eastern Time. If you've got questions you want us to answer for next week, please put them in the comments section on YouTube, or you can always float them to us live.
Beautiful.
Thanks for watching.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Bye.